Now, what can you do if you purchase a building, your insurance is delayed, and then an earthquake strikes? It turns out not very much. That's the reality for one Kaikoura business owner who's been left with a broken shop and a $50,000 repair bill almost 2 years on from the November 2016 earthquake. This comes, of course, as Kaikoura District Council researchers found many of its residents are still struggling post-quake due to insurance woes, repairs, housing, mental health. The list goes on. And what's worse, post-quake stress has seen shingles cases increase by 40%. Logan Church travelled to Kaikoura with his camera and filed this report.
From the outside, this Kaikoura bookshop appears like any old bookshop should. Quaint, homely and filled with books. But step out the back.
The ceiling all fell through. The chimney, which was the fireplace, which was here, that fell in as well. So we've removed that, taken that out completely. We've had to remove some of the ceiling. This will be replaced as we can afford it.
That is the owner, Jennifer Rush, showing me her broken ceiling and walls. She purchased this building in late 2016 and went straight to the bank in September to organise insurance with IAG. They returned to Jennifer with a list of requirements.
So they needed engineer reports, they needed the age of the building, they needed valuation done, a lot of stuff that I couldn't get done here. We didn't have the resources here in Kaikoura to get it done.
So why couldn't you get all that information?
So one, we don't have a structural engineer here, an actual structural engineer here in Kaikoura. The council were moving at the same time as me, so a lot of their records were boxed up and I couldn't get access, I couldn't have access to those records, which I needed a bit of extra information for the insurance company. Valuers, we don't have a registered valuer here in Kaikoura either. The closest, funnily enough, is in Cheviot.
In short, it was going to take a long time to pull the necessary information together. At the same time, Jennifer had to move everything into the new building, without full insurance, as her lease had expired on her old shop.
I did ask, though, in the interim, if I could insure the building for the mortgage, what we'd paid for the building.
The answer was no. That mortgage is just north of $300,000. But everything was okay until Jennifer and her husband, a volunteer firefighter and excavator, went away on the weekend of the Kaikoura earthquake. They returned to chaos.
The tie rods, which pretty much hold your building or hold the walls together, were hugely damaged. There were thousands of external cracking, some walls had fallen in, the fireplace had broken. I had some issues with plumbing. I've still got one broken toilet. I do have another one.
If you are wondering why EQC didn't help, well, it can't. If you don't have private insurance, you aren't entitled to anything. Jennifer repaired the building enough so she could open again last year. But there is still a $50,000 hole to fix everything else, such as the ceiling, the walls, the plumbing.
The impact of this stress is huge. Yeah.
Do you have $50,000 in your back pocket?
Not at all, not at all.
And she blames IAG for leaving her in this lurch.
I feel extremely let down by these guys, and especially after approaching them, afterwards, there was no empathy, there was no understanding. There was a so-called embargo on the insurance, which was all well and good after an earthquake, but there wasn't when I was applying for an insurance. So
it seems Jennifer is not alone. The Kaikoura District Council is trying to quantify how stressed the community is. A recent survey of 700 households, which is very close to half of the homes in the Kaikoura district, found that many are still struggling. 104 respondents were concerned about insurance, 143 were concerned about their health and well-being, 91 respondents said they didn't have a warm and dry home. The council's community services manager, Susie Haberstock, says things aren't easy for many locals.
Many people say, turn it down and say, oh, come on, we're 1.5 years on, how can you still be stressed? We're over everything. Other people are seriously unwell, they're breaking out in shingles. We're hearing all sorts of stories from the medical centre that shingles is up 40%, which is a sign of serious physical stress manifested in the itchiness that you get when you get the shingles.
The council is establishing a new Rebuilds Navigator role to help struggling residents.
I think our community, after about 1.5 to 2 years, is feeling very vulnerable and really stretched and very thin, so we need to tread softly, and we just need to get in there and we need to help them along. A lot of the time it will just be a conversation. So what is it that you need? You can ask, and then they go, oh, I'm not sure which builder to use.
But for Jennifer Rush, all she can do is slowly chip away at that $50,000 repair bill. Mō te hōtaka o te ahi ahi nei, ko Logan Church tēnei.
At 10 minutes to 6, we have just received a statement from IAG. That's Jennifer Rush's insurer. Jennifer just featured in that report by Logan Church. The statement says on September the 16th, 2016, IAG sought responses from Jennifer to some initial questions to complete an assessment for her insurance. It says it didn't receive a reply until December the 1st. Now, it says it's sorry that Ms Rush was unable to provide the required information ahead of the Kaikoura earthquake. IAG says it encourages people seeking cover to allow insurers as much time as possible to process their application, particularly in risk-prone areas such as Kaikoura.